Greetings. It is I, Crystallia. I wanted to be the first one to speak this evening because, just as Shelly was mentioning just prior to this channeling beginning, is exactly what I wish to speak to you about. There have been some significant changes, not only in the alignment within your universe, but in the alignment with humanity on the earth plane. More and more of you are waking up, more and more of you are recognizing that things are not what they thought they were. Things are different. There's something going on. And even though people may not know exactly what that might represent, they still have an inkling that there's something going on. And so I wanted to talk to you about exactly that. There was a question that Shelly had asked us, and I did she mention it in the email? I can't remember. But she had read somewhere where someone said, what questions do the universal beings? Now, this is not someone that follows Shelley. This is not someone that knows that the three of us are here working with humanity. But this individual did know that there were ships and there were many different things that were out in the universe that were here in support of humanity. And so they were saying, I wonder what kind of questions they would have for humanity, and that really got Shelley to thinking. And so she and I have had a couple of conversations about that since this time. And I did kind of go around and ask people, if you could ask a question of humanity, what would you ask? And I got like two primary questions, which is very interesting to me because over and over and over, the people that are on these ships that are doing the not only the energy work that's supporting you, but also, working on the ships, the mechanical things, that which is a part of having those the I guess the basic foundation of how to run a ship. So this is coming from multiple different levels, but the number one was, why is humanity so harsh on one another? And what I interpreted that was, humanity is critical of one another, they're judgmental of one another, they have this very divisive energy, and this that it's all has to be one way or it all has to be the other way. But as I was taking these tolls of people, or these polls of people, that was one of the first things that I heard. So let me address that for a moment. You come you are coming out of a time that was very much immersed in brain control. Not that's not the word, mind control. And when you have something like mind control, what comes along with that is that they are also programming what is going into the mind control. They are programming people's responses to that. And if people had a response that was outside of what they wanted, then they took care of it. So you may think, what are you talking about? But I'm talking about going back into the 50s and 60s. That was when they began the programming for what is happening with you right now. Isn't that interesting? So this is not something that's just come up over the last 5 to 10 years. This is something that has been in place for a very, very, very long time. And you could say, in particular, the earliest process of them working like this was about 150 years ago. It was the time when the corporation took over the United States of America, and they began telling people what was happening and what was going on. So this is not anything new, but when you consider it in that way, and you consider generations of people being told something, and obviously you believe it because that's what you were told and you didn't know not to believe it. So that's what caused layer upon layer upon layer to create an insulation around humanity. And within that insulation, then they would put like little zings that would say, don't like people that look different than you. They would put in a little zing that I'm better than someone else because I have more money. Money is the most important thing. So this is what I've been learning from looking at you. This is what I got when I asked people, what is your question? What would you want to ask humanity? And their question is, why have you allowed this to happen? Or why have you not yet awakened to that it's going on and done something about it? So that's where we are right now. More and more of you are awakening. There is a great deal that is already in your unconscious that is about this awakening process. So, where you stand right now is that you are in a place where you're beginning to recognize that this is what was going on. Now, another part of this, or another piece of this puzzle, is you're being shown in social media, you're being shown in many of the different videos that people that have done research. I will say humanity is fabulous at really doing research, at really digging down, and not the average that's not awakened yet, but those of you that are, you're the ones that are like, well, how did that happen? And what led to that? And why did this happen? And on and on and on, asking those questions. And that is a massive part of why this ascension is taking place as it is. So consider that. Consider that humanity has broken out. Now, there's a great deal of you that never went along with that directive. There was just something inside of you that said, okay, and did what you wanted to do. But now that you're in a place where you need to actively choose something outside of that. And I believe that humanity is. I believe that you are choosing that, because when I'm looking at you and when I talk to the other ULBs, and we're working with different groups of people and we're working with humanity on the earth plane, we see that there is great compassion for one another. We see that there is acceptance, love, and awareness that you are all here for the same purpose. You're all here to create these changes in the earth and to bring on what is going to be the foundation for this new Aquarian civilization. So that was the first question that people asked a great deal. And the second question that they had was pain, and they put it in many different ways. If you are so harsh and challenging with the people around you, you're also receiving a lot of pain. There is a lot of pain in the way that people treat one another. There's a lot of physical pain through these things that you're going through, be it illnesses, be it just the chemicals or the different foods that you eat that cause you to have pain in your body. And not saying that people from the universe don't also have pain. They do. However, they have a respect, you could say, or they have an awareness that humanity tolerates a great deal of pain. And so I find that very interesting that those were the two things I heard over and over and over. And then I did hear a third question, and this is, are you ready to be done? And that would be the one that in many cases that kind of slid to the forefront. It was like, we acknowledge that this is how you've been. We acknowledge this. We acknowledge this. And then the question rises to the top, are you ready to be done? And I believe that you are ready. I believe that you are all over this in so many different ways. So I wanted to come in and just say that to you. Say that we, as the universal beings that are working in support of not only the Earth plane, but also other planets that are in this galaxy, we are working with all of you to create a intrinsic balance. Well, the intrinsic balance is always there, but it gets pushed out of space because of the actions that are taking place on the various planets. So we're here to say that choosing to be in a place of love, hello, this is my motto, is it not? Choosing to focus on love in your everyday life, choosing to focus on being in harmony with the other people around you, choosing to be in a place of awareness and receiving the love, the light, the potential that is there from others to give to you. This is another thing that I don't know if it is part of that programming that you've had, but I do find that there are a lot of people on earth that find it difficult to receive. And whether that's something that you've been taught for many, many, many years, or it's something that's just it within your family life that's causing that, I'm not really 100% sure where it's coming from. But I will say this, In order to be in that true flow, think about the universal symbol. You have your peak, and then you go down, and then you peak, and then you're just flowing back and forth. That, of course, is the number 8. That can be done horizontally, vertically, in any different direction. So a lot of people like to refer to as above, so below. You can speak about as above, meaning on the planet, as below, inside the planet, in the core of the planet. You can think about that, finding that balance, finding the alignment that allows you to be in communication or connection with something that is of a higher, lighter frequency. So that is very, very important for you to consider in your everyday life. When you read the things that are happening, when you see what's going on, and when it comes to your mind in whatever way, shape, or form it does, always take a second to come back and say, is that telling me what's been going on? Or is that saying this is where we're going? Because you still have the ability to change where you're going. You have the ability through the understanding of everything that's going on. You have the ability through working together as a community of souls and putting out high vibration, high frequency, harmony, balance, that infinity sign that is creating the balance. Y- Okay, it just downloaded into Shelly. Sorry about that. So sometimes that infinity sign is also saying, balancing the mental body with the spiritual body, or balancing emotions with the spiritual body. So that symbol is just a symbol of balance. And we're right here coming off of the equinox, which is what? Balance. It's the balance of the seasons, it's the balance on your planet, it's the balance with the universe. It's just, balance all the way around. I'm not as good as Albayon and Brysentia when it comes to a lot of the specific details, but as I'm looking at you as humanity, I see these massive, massive explosions of white light. And as that white light explodes, I see particles that are going out and breaking up the energy that was associated with that programming that's no longer happening. So let me speak for a minute about what that means. That means that if the planet had a programming that affected humanity, it sends out its own energy, and that energy can be called an overlay. That energy can be called a web that sometimes is around humanity. Sometimes it wraps around a single individual person. When I looked back, like when I look back at 2010, even 2000, there was a lot of that overlay, and there was a lot of darkness and heaviness. And at that time, it was somewhat at this level, but that's when they started bringing it down into humanity. And that was, of course, why the universe then began to say, well, we got to step things up, we got to get things moving, because we are not going to let that happen. So that is why suddenly you began to hear more and more about, whether it was different people channeling or different people getting insights, wherever it came from. That was when you really began to understand that we don't have to stay in that energy. So let me speak about what I see now. I see very, very, very little of that overlay that was so heavy at that time. I see bursts of light that are just kind of exploding in different parts of the planet. And those bursts of light can represent one single individual just really pulling in all of their energy, and whew, just sending it out into the energies around them, into the ethers. And that is showing you how powerful you are. And then I see another energy that looks like waves. And these waves literally flow around the planet. There is a motion, there is a rhythm. And in that rhythm and motion, there is a lot of the light energy. That's where the crystalline energy is, the light body energy is. And that's where people pull from it as they are increasing their vibration and activating different aspects in your DNA. So your DNA is the foundation of who you are. You know this, that is not anything new. But the DNA, as these strands become activated within you, that's when you are able to create the changes. They can be activated within you and just sit there saying, Okay, when is she going to do something with this? When is she going to begin to listen to her intuition? Why are we activated if she's not listening to us? So many of you are probably getting a message like that. Okay, okay. I just heard someone say, "But I don't wanna go out and save the world. I don't wanna put myself out there in front of a bunch of people and get shot down," and 100%, I get that. I know that this is how some of you would interpret, like, a call to action, but that is not what you have to do unless you choose to do so. No, you when you feel that call, that inkling that says, "I feel like I need to do something. I feel like something's going on. I feel like," whatever it may be that's going through your consciousness, then your job is to get quiet, to go inside, to bring your energies within, and just open up that flow so that it can easily move up and down within you, so that you can consciously have that awareness within and around you. So, truly, that's all you need to do to be a part of this ascension process. Whew. I I'm just trying to think of a big enough number. I know 100 is what you consider the top, but I agree 1000% that humanity is moving in the right direction. I believe that everything that is traumatic and full of turmoil at this time is incredibly temporary. I believe that you guys are so powerful, and that you have made the changes. And this is just about that integration. This is just about falling into space and claiming your individuality, claiming your sovereign soul, and claiming that ability to be as powerful as you want to be. Take a deep breath in and let that flow up and down within you. Whew, and then just breathe out and let it go. Whew. All right. Are there any questions for me this evening? I know sometimes people don't ask questions. Okay. So nobody wrote in a question ahead of time. Let me just close my eyes and see if anything comes to me that says this is a question. Okay. What I heard is I really try very hard to be in that place of understanding my divinity, of understanding my gifts, of understanding that I have moved into this higher vibrational being. However, my spouse doesn't believe any of this, so that pulls me down. My work coworkers don't believe any of this. So in other words, this individual, and I think they're not alone, the people that are around them don't buy into any of it, so it causes her to feel isolated when she's recognizing her divinity. This is a great question, and I really appreciate that whoever it was sent it out to me, probably more than one of you. So let's speak about that for a minute. Because of the programming that you've had, and because of the way that life has been, or the world has been, when when they talk about you need to be true to yourself, you need to be open to that flow, you need to have that knowledge and awareness of yourself, people took that to mean in an egocentric way, meaning that only my beliefs matter, only what I want to do is important, and everybody else has to fall in line to be there. So that's the old energy focus and awareness for what is it when someone is going inside of themselves and creating that inner relationship. So in the new vibration, and this is where you are when I speak about this. So in the new vibration, what is happening is that you are now saying, I am here. I'm on the earth. I chose to be here. I have an open flow of love and light and energy that goes directly into my soul. And through that, I understand, I know who I am. And even if I have other thoughts that may pull me out of that, even if I have experiences that may pull me out of that, coming back to that core feeling and knowledge of who you are. When you feel that flow, you know it. You know it. You know that I am love. You know that I am aware of everything that's happening. And that is what I speak of when with the importance of you being focused and centered and anchored within you. So when that becomes the beginning of your day, the end of your day, whatever time, and if you have to kind of tap into it multiple times a day, but when that becomes the way that you focus inside of yourself, then it's going to emanate out from you. So you could say it as if it's a prayer or as if you're giving a loving hug. So those that husband, that or that spouse, those coworkers, those family members, those friends, those people that don't get it, you can be in that place and just feel that vibration and that love as it's going up and down, and then send like a warm hug out to everybody else. I love you. I accept you. I'm pleased that we are married, parents, kids, whatever it may be. And you do that not with any expectation of, okay, now they're going to get it. No, you just do that because you're shining forth the vibration of that balanced alignment with your soul. And that triggers within them that potential that they can do the same and that they can then meet you at that higher, lighter frequency. So that's how that works. It is about being beyond the energy of expectation of a particular result, of using that vibration or energy to manipulate and control someone else, because it is just a place of being. It is just that understanding and awareness that you are more than this lifetime. And in that greater alignment with your soul, with the universe, with your all your many, many, many lifetimes, here is how you're manifesting it right now. Whew, good one.